This is episode 239 of the Gold Squadron podcast. I'm your host, Dion Morales, and today I'm joined by Marcel. I'm on time. Manzano.
Hello.
Will, there were no stakes. Manzano.
Oh, thanks. You just
I'll pronounce
up.
you Mr. and Mr. Manzano. Thank you.
I stunned you.
And Ryan, I am his father, Staniszewski.
Oliver Luke is now with us, and he is the cutest thing.
Oh, so yes, if maybe you are listening to episode like 239 is your first episode, Ryan's a poppy now, and it's awesome, and it's great. Actually, you know what? Quick question: what do you want your child to call you? Do you know? Like, do you have like a preferred? It's gonna be just like
Dad's fine.
Dad's fine. Yeah, cool.
I'm cool with that. I don't go anything crazy with it. Not that like Papa or Poppy or anything that's crazy, but you know.
No, it's whatever makes your heart smile is really what you go with. Unless the kid comes up with something crazy, and then that's on them. You can't control that. All right, everybody. Well, we're jumping into it. We got announcements and news first. And we're gonna jump into probably something that people probably have heard about by now, but just in case you hadn't yet, there were some leaks. All right, some leaks on the Asmodee website. It's not really leaks; it's just where the information came from. And we'll go ahead and flip this back here. But we have official release dates for two products: one that we knew was coming, and one that I don't think we knew was coming. I don't remember them talking too much about it, but here, the one that we knew was coming, and that is the Razor Crest. There's the box. All right, it's happening February 25th. It's available for pre-order now on the Asmodee website, which should mean that it's available for pre-order at your local game store. Go ahead, get yours pre-ordered and pick it up. I think the retail price is around $40. I don't know if you need to buy more than one of these to be competitive. I would suggest probably just start with one and go from there. Unless you want to be crazy and buy more than one. You know what? That's fine too. Follow your heart. I'm not going to stop you. But the one that got me hype, I'm just going to be honest, was this right here. A new card pack, folks. The Pride of Mandalore Reinforcements pack. Now, some of the pilots that are listed here, and they did show the back, which we'll get to in a minute, we did know about them. We just weren't entirely sure what else was coming. But anyway, let's go ahead and flip to it. We have here the back, and we get to see quite a bit here of some of the upcoming things. You want to go ahead and give me what's the breakdown here for Rebels, Will?
Okay, so this pack includes the following ship cards. That is BoKatan, Vinny? No, it's a J. Vinge? Let's go with BoKatan. I lost it. Vinge. That's a Fang fighter. I assume these are all Mandalorians. Dirk. I don't know why you're making me do this, but I'm having fun with it. Dirk. Alden. Fenrau. I know that one. And Clan Ren Volunteer, which I can only assume will be the generic.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. I don't know who the two people on the top, no idea who it is. If you want to do a little, any of you guys know, want to do a little Google foo, find out who those people are. Will, wow, Marcel lets us know what are we getting in the Empire.
Looks like we got Moff Gideon in the TIE. Is that an IN fighter?
LN, I think it is, right?
I'm guessing that's the funny wing, like the I'm a little teapot wings.
the TIE fighter.
Yeah, and then you got the ISB. Good lord, Kumquat.
Jingoist.
There you go. Sounds moist. Yeah, the ISB Jingoist Thai LN Fighter. Is this? I stepped away for a minute. Is this like
It's a card pack. Yeah, February 25th is the release date. And then last but not least, Ryan, what are we getting for Scum?
Just a Mandalorian Royal Guard.
All right. So now you can see on the contents here, you see we got 10 ship cards, which we already looked at. Now
one Scum?
only one Scum, but
For
here.
now, because here's the, I mean, I think Dio was about to say it, but the front of the pack showed not 3 factions, 5. So they're omitting some stuff, I think, because
Yeah.
it showed the Separatist and the Republic faction symbols on the front bottom section, but not on the back.
Yep.
Yeah, and it says 50 upgrade cards. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's was the next part I was going to go. And maybe it might be in the upgrades where we end up getting those other things. Maybe not pilots, but yeah, 50 upgrade cards. That's a. Are we going to assume that they're all? They're not. They all can't be new, can they?
I mean, when you say new, probably recently released, but kind of those cards that got locked into exclusive packs. Kind of like how we had Zam and Django end up in the Django's pack, but then also the Collaborators and Fugitives pack. So kind of cross bleeding between products.
Is there any stuff that was out on the conversion kits only and not anywhere else?
I think all that's been re-released. The Hawk title, Moldy Crow, is that one still hard to get? I think you get it in the other card pack. Didn't they put it in there one?
Yeah, they put it in the Aces.
Hot Shots and Aces?
Yeah. But it's not in the Fugitives and Collaborators.
Really, it isn't? I thought it was.
No, that's not the Moldy Crow, that black one. So they didn't include it.
Got him.
So if they got 10 ship cards, it's likely that something like the Mandalorian fighter would be like 3 of a kind in there. If it's a generic, so that would constitute like the
I would
other
assume.
ones.
Does it? Well, that's a great question. Does it show how many dials for each faction they're going to give you?
It does show the amount of dials total, but not per faction on the bottom.
5 ship dials, 8 ship tokens, 3. So I mean, you get 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
See, I would have to assume that would be 3 rebels and 2 Imperials then. Or maybe just 1 Imperial?
Well,
no,
I mean,
no, because the Jinquist.
It's 1 Imperial because the Imperial it's a 2-sided. It's probably 3 Rebel, 1 Imperial, and 1 Scum.
Or is there a possibility that they're actually all rebel? Just because if you have TIE fighters, you don't need a special dial. You already have a Scum dial, and they probably have 2 Clan Ren volunteers as cards.
Well, what can you fit 5 fangs? Can you fit 4 rebel fangs? Or 5 rebel fangs is what I mean?
big shrug.
I mean that's the only way I can think about it. Netter brought up my point about how the Jinquist is a 2-pip, but yeah, I agree. If you already have the LN model, just like the Fang Fighter, if you have the model, you should already have the dial from somewhere.
Yep.
So 5 rebel fangs confirmed.
Maybe, or you just get an extra one. Maybe it fit nicely on the formatting, and they're like, just give them an extra rebel cover for it or something. Let's see what else we got. We have 4 quick build cards. All right, so we have 4 recycling pieces, 2 condition cards, 5 ship dials, 8 ship tokens. 8 ship tokens. So this is 1, 2, unless you get.
Well, remember, as Will mentioned, the ISB Jingoist and certain ones that are pipped to a certain amount may have like so there my guess, there's an Imperial one that has Moff Gideon and an ISP Jingoist on one side, and another one that is ISP Jingoist on both.
Oh, okay. So, and then maybe at least two of these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One for each, with maybe the ones on the back.
Sure.
I think the Rebel ones you can double side though if you want.
Yeah, just
Like,
put generics on all the back.
Yep. Oh, somebody brought up a good point. Could there be a dial for the scrap for the Space Mandos? So this is probably where that pack is going. I don't remember if on the cards when they showed those.
I don't think they need a dial. I think they just move around in the system phase.
Yeah, they do have movements similar to like probe droids.
All right. Well, let's get in here and look at some of these. Enhance. So we got Satine, 2 recurring charges. We'll read as much of this as we got. Single crew at the, not sure of the faction, by the way, because we cannot see the equip requirements. We're going to assume this is Republic, right? This would be the reason, because she's alive in the Clone Wars era.
Yeah, I mean, she's standing in the Senate Hall, so you would have to imagine.
All right, so we got, at the start of the engagement phase, you may spend 2 charges. If you do, each friendly ship may choose to gain 1 deplete token and 1 focus token, or what I think might be 1 disarm token and 1 something else. Or it could be also strain. But some combination, basically a bad token and a good token, or a good token and a bad token in a different combination. That seems interesting. What do you guys think about that? Republic.
Makes sense on a thematic basis for Satine. She's been always huge into being peaceful and diplomatic. One of the few in all of Mandalorian society within the Clone Wars storyline. So, choosing to take a deplete, lowering your offense to focus, as free focus token is pretty good. If you're not shooting that round or your shot really doesn't matter, solid trade-off. There's no range restriction. Start of engagement phase.
That's what blows
huge.
my mind. Start
That's
of engagement
huge.
phase, friendly ships. Now, they had to do 1. They had to take we assume, disarm or deplete. But, wow, that's pretty powerful. Every other turn, your whole squad gets to do something.
Well, that's pretty awesome. I mean, that puts it on a level, like, what other cards allow you to do anything across an entire board like that? You got, like, Palpatine, Leia.
Both Leias.
Like a big...
Does Moff Jerjerrod have infinite range too?
Yes, the boosty Moff. Yeah.
Yep. So Moff Jerjerrod is probably the closest in terms of how mechanically it's going to work in terms of how often and widespread, because he as well as a crew card in the Imperial has 2 charges but only recharges 1 per round. So it's an every other turn effect.
Sorry, I was distracted. On the or does it show what kind of token before the word token?
We don't know. We don't know what good token is, but it better be pretty good if you can get a
We don't know.
disarm. I wonder if it's recover a
Is this disarm
shield.
token?
It might say disarm. It could also, because I'm looking at this and I see it kind of looks like a D, is what my brain sees, but it could be something else. We don't know. It could also be strain, but it's a fuzzy mess. We don't know. It could also be a disarm with an evade. Could it make sense to be a strain and an evade?
It can also get disarmed and get it back a force, or no, a force maybe.
She's not really a force type of person, though.
No.
I do like the evade and disarm. That makes sense.
I think it'd be cool if she was a squad-wide reload. Like, what if it was disarm and recover a charge on your ship?
That's true.
Or
We are
any
missing a whole
charge.
line there.
Yeah.
If it was the evade, and the focus, that means that basically you can focus up for offense or evade if you're going away and you're not shooting, just evade and defense.
Well,
Yeah,
remember,
everybody
if
gets
you
the
get the
choice.
focus, you are taking the deplete. So you can still shoot, but you're shooting with 1 less dice.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Because
It's
cluster
basically
missiles,
saying that if you use
things
it,
like
everyone
that.
has to choose one or the other, right? That's like
Right.
You can't. Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't sound like they all have to be the same, right? Because each ship, and you don't have to, because there is a big may there. You're not forced into it. Mm-hmm.
A lot of flexibility there.
Yeah.
Well,
so
even more flexibility this actually differs further from Deirdre, because Deirdre's a system phase. Satine is start of engagement. You have a lot of knowledge of the board state at this time. You know where the arcs are going to be, and might have a good idea who's shooting at what. That's a lot of good knowledge.
I like that a lot. Cool. Let's keep the party going. We got Prime Minister Olmec. It says, equip this side face up. So we know it's a double-sided. After a friendly ship at range 0 to 2 reveals a white maneuver, if it had no green tokens, it may gain 1 stress token to gain 1 calculate token. During the end phase, if you have 2 or more something...
I'm guessing it's stress tokens, since you're gaining stress.
2 or more...
Well, the other ships are gaining stress, unless you can do it yourself as well.
Or more... That's probably stress tokens.
Yeah, range,
Flip
range
this
0
card.
to 2. You're friendly.
Yeah, because it's range 0 to 2, you're doing it to yourself. So basically,
Yeah. I assume that there is a big penalty on the back if you abuse this.
Yeah.
that sounds pretty good. Like, I'm gonna bump, okay, because it doesn't say fully execute, which is when you reveal. So you reveal, you're gonna bump, and it's like, oh, it's an auto-calculate. That sounds very... Did AMG make
Oh man!
or FFG?
Oh man! If only there was a crew in X-wing that lets you clear stress while doing a white maneuver.
Oh god! Put K2SO in this together.
Well,
got-
we can make the easy
No,
assumption that this guy
it's-
exists in either Separatist or Republic. I don't know which, actually. Could be both.
He might be both because he played canonically. He played both sides, didn't he?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, this would be pretty good for droids, like, to be honest with you. So,
Yeah. What do we think the other side has to do with? Is it when he finally starts? Is it we can have like a Tarek style effect between the two?
Well, like
don't
Tarek's,
know.
Tarek's on the backside. It has some utility still, right?
Still good.
Yep. So I guess the question is this going to be? Are we seeing the best side now, or not?
I mean,
So just wild
man.
for guessing.
yeah, I mean, because
could be something, Mom.
so the idea that
uh,
if you punish yourself with the double stress, you could earn something. That kind of idea.
Maybe because it was it 2 or more.
Yeah.
If you have 2 or more, maybe just a bonus for being stressed. Like, hey, if you have a stress, spend it as if it were a calculator or something.
No, I wouldn't be positive on both sides, I don't think.
I mean, Terex is positive on both sides.
Positive-ish.
I guess if they want to keep it cheap, they punish you on the other side, right? Because as soon as you abuse it, because again, you can do this while stressed, right? Yeah, as long as you don't have any green tokens, you completed a white maneuver, you're stressed, I want to calculate this turn, boom, you get your calculate, it immediately flips, right? There's no, like, you don't have to wait till the next turn. As soon as that second stress hits, it flips, and I would hope consequences.
Actually,
Yeah, because if you look at Proud Tradition, like, Proud Tradition turns all of your focus red. Like, that's the cost of having it flipped. So maybe, like, your white maneuvers become harder or something like that.
yeah, and keep in mind
your
that
blue maneuvers is white. You just can
You're-
never clear stress.
your decision point on when, or the point at which that calculate gets assigned to you, is after a friendly ship 0 to 2 reveals a white. So they have not executed it yet. They have not gone through obstacles or anything yet. So, situation where you could put yourself in a spot to where you, like Marcel said, you know you're going to bump, you may not get an action, or etc. you could have already been stressed and you need to do a white maneuver. Just have a calculate, deal with the second stress, make it count.
You know, something
Ryan,
interesting here, though. You could also abuse this on other friendly ships, though, couldn't you? You could just stack up the stress. I mean, not that you would want to do this, but you could stack up the stress infinitely and continue getting calculate tokens, because it has that flip side only when you, meaning the ship carrying Prime Minister Olmec, flips, assuming there's a penalty on the other side. Am I right about that?
Yeah, it's only the ship
Warren.
carrying Prime that needs to get 2 stress.
So basically, you can.
If we're reading it right, or thinking, through the pixels.
So basically, you can fortress yourselves with all of your ships having calculate except the one carrying this.
Potentially.
Essentially.
Ryan, if this were a separatist card, you would you still reveal what's grappling struts your maneuver. Is that right? You still revealed the maneuver. You just don't execute it.
Reveal. That's
Yes.
difficult because it doesn't become a maneuver anymore when you have struts, though.
But you
But you still
revealed it.
reveal.
You still reveal the thing on the dial.
You reveal a 5 forward, for example.
Yeah, this
It matters
seems like
because,
way,
for example,
way too good to be working with struts, because that's just extra calculates at that point, then, right?
Because it becomes like Rick Olay. Like when you're on a rock with Brick, you reveal a 5 forward to guarantee you don't.
Oh yeah, so you only skip your execute maneuver step, but you still reveal it.
Yeah,
Okay.
so this has to be a Republic-only crew, because this would be way too good with struts.
Could
Yeah,
it?
because the wording on struts. Well, I mean, if you have struts, like, you don't. I guess I don't see why this would make it any more better.
Because
already
don't
have-
target lock calculate every round while sitting on a round.
Yeah, because you get a calculate when you
Calculate
reveal,
from him, and then the struts remove the stress
and
anyway.
then you action.
Yeah.
So this has to be a Republic. There's no way that they're going to let this in a separatist squad.
No,
It's happening.
fine.
It's happening.
Fine.
It's
That's
happening.
fine. Hyena's just focus locking or calculate
lock
locking
every turn.
Ugh, no thanks. I'm out.
So then the question is,
Or you
if
can calculate, barrel roll, calculate again.
true,
No, you because he's only assigning you a calculate.
yeah.
Well, are you
Yeah.
talking about the second calculate? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
No, he's
yeah,
talking
because you
linked
get- because
actions.
You can still take your action as a calculate, so you can
Yep.
double calculate or calculate target lock. I don't think
Yeah.
it'll.
No,
I
no.
think that's not
No
a.
way.
And this doesn't look to have any like limiting factor other than just being 0 to 2, so it can happen as many times as you want in a turn.
Yeah.
Not a charge or anything.
Agent of Chaos.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go.
Just-
Separatist only.
There is something beautiful about that trigger you're talking about, Ryan, that because it's when they're revealed, you can actually have this in the back of your formation then. So they would always just reveal those dials while at range 2 of you. If it was after they execute a white maneuver, then the support piece would have to be up front closer to where they're finishing maneuvers. So this guy's got a lot of potential, actually.
We'll see what the other side is, because like was pointed out, it's only the ship carrying. It seems like only the ship carrying Prime Minister Olmec that would have to flip this card if they have 2 or more stress potentially.
And then, so if you wanted to bring it, though, you're going to have to take one of the HMPs that has a cruise slot, right? Or a Sith infiltrator, or a fire spray? I'm not sure.
Or in the
Sheathipede,
far
right?
future, a Sheathipede, but that's I've always wanted to see a Sheathipede back in the Separatist faction.
I'm sure it'll come.
So I was future calling it Dookuupede just because it would be the carrier of Dooku crew anyway.
What? I can coordinate and change people's dice? I
Yeah,
mean,
it seems great.
seems great. Make it like 40 points. Let's go.
All right, there's Prime Minister Olmec. Then we got BoKatan. I just got to ask about this art. What is this light thing in her hand?
She's shooting a pistol.
Oh, it's a pistol. I was like, is that a cutoff cut off like dark saber art weird thing. It's a pew pew. Got it. It's the low res. The low res got me. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and assume this says after you perform an attack, or when you perform an attack, if you are at range 0 to 1 of the defender, you may reroll 1 attack die.
It's like
I don't like the 0-2.
I think it's like I'm the Boba Fett now.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a Boba Fett light,
Yeah.
like Boba Fett pilot into a crew, but only for attacking and only 1 die.
The reason I
still
said I
pretty
don't like
good.
the 0 to 1 is because right now we've got 2 cards here, Olmec and Crest, that kind of lean towards the conversation that was happening in that stream where they said, well, if you bump it, it feels bad, so maybe you should get a focus or a calculator, and maybe you should be able to shoot at range 0.
It could be that, or just future proofing that there may be other pilots that could use BoKatan. Because right now, correct me if I'm wrong, the only pilots that have the ability to shoot at range 0 are in only the original trilogy factions, right? Well, sorry, 404.
Yeah.
DBS 404, and then just original trilogy faction stuff, I think, have the capability of doing range 0. So
404
they might add
and
more.
404 Arvel, Reimer,
Arvel, Reimer,
Boykin?
Zeb crew.
Yeah.
Well,
Things with Zeb crew.
Basically almost the entire Rebel faction.
All right. So I mean, it's a simple ability. Seems interesting. Obviously, it gives you offensive, offensive modifiers. And if you are not able to fire at somebody from 0 to 1, normally that doesn't get you a bonus. But I like the idea of future proofing that.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, it's points wise, it's probably in the 3 to 4 point range. I don't think it's that much. Yeah, you can think about Predator on what's that silencer that can treat range 1 as a bullseye.
Fucking recoil.
Recoil. It's basically the same as putting Predator on recoil. So it's good. I think it's. But also, this is probably working on double arcs and like in a side arc or something like that as well. So it's got
this
extra
on an
utility.
arc with like veteran tail gunner, start shooting twice.
Yeah, reroll everywhere. Yeah.
Could be good.
All right. Then the last one here on the back, we have Gar Saxon, a traitorous, mean Mandalorian who seems to have a pretty big block of text that could end up being pretty scary. Something along the lines of, after you perform the lock action, you can choose an object in your front or back arc, period.
That feels like a restriction. They can
Right.
only lock things in your front or back arc.
And after you perform the lock action, you can only... Okay, I can see that. And then it says, you can perform a primary attack, or when you perform a primary attack and the defender is in your front or back, you can, it looks like, gain a orange token of some kind, because they're using there's the word is orange there.
Or
Orange.
maybe orange or red, maybe. Like a negative token.
To get something.
I mean, it could just say you may transfer 1 red or orange token to that ship.
If there's the downside of like the lock action of only being allowed in the front or back arc, there's got to be an upside to whatever's happening in the second.
Maybe spend a lock. You can only lock in front or back, and then you may spend a lock to give a red token. That sounds a little like Stress Hog, but maybe that.
Don't get Will excited.
Sounds interesting. Why do all these feel like I want to put them on fire sprays? What's up with these front and back arcs? Does
Or the Arc 170s.
Yeah. What's up with that? Does the Gauntlet that they announced. I was about to say leaked, but it's not really a leak when they are the person who made the product. Does the Gauntlet have only a front arc? I'm pretty
No, it's
sure,
front
right?
and back.
It does
It's
have a back
lambda.
arc.
It's front 3, back 2.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. So that makes sense. This feels like very much a companion to that expansion.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Well, I think they're all supposed to come out at the same time. At least that was the original plan. The big Mandalorian.
The way, but
everything.
it sounds like the Gauntlet though isn't coming, because why would it not be up on the website with the rest? So it might just be the spread out product, right? Because if they're having supply issues, get some out in February, you hold over to like the spring, summer.
This is one of the things that I never understood. Why we actually got waves. Like, why not just like a product a month instead of like 4 products all at once? So maybe they're slowly getting away from the waves that we've come to be used to.
It could be. I could see that. One of the problems I could see with in waves, you ideally don't have to pay for storage fees, because you're just kind of like release. You buy it all at once, you get it all manufactured, you ship it all over at the same time, get it distributed all at the same time, and then you're done. If you are letting it go little by little, you're still going to want to pay the one-time shipping from overseas and then let it go. I mean, that's, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, but also from a just from the other perspective, if you're releasing on a more constant schedule or consistent, like a more regular schedule versus everything at once, you're not scaring people with like a $250 price tag every 3 or 4 months. It's like, it's a little bit more palatable when you're, doing $20-$30 a month. And then it also gets you going to the store to pick it up. So I think it's, I know for the local, for local stores, it would be really great, because then they have a reason to say, okay, our monthly tournament is the week after every release. And now, or something like that. It gives people a reason to visit the store every month, even if it's just to pick that up. So it just creates more foot traffic and keeps a constant, it keeps you on, it keeps a constant news cycle.
Yeah.
Because, there's a lot of promotion, there's a lot of hype whenever there's a release. And if you can spread that out to a 12-month hype cycle versus 4 times a year, you gain more benefit. I mean, there's benefits. Yeah, you're spending more on some logistics, but you're probably gaining more benefit on locals, but store support, and on some maybe just like hype and just PR and social media, and we're talking about it. Other people will talk about it, etc.
That's true. You also got the possibility of like, oh, I'm going to pick up this one thing, and I guess while I'm here, I'll get another X-Wing thing. The add-ons there. Pretty cool. And I think the other part that I wanted to talk about, guys, is this may end up being the first time we get an AMG logo on an X-Wing product. I don't know if it's going to be on the Razor Crest, because normally that's on the front. And if you look at the Razor Crest box, it seems like they may have photoshopped out or omitted the usual FFG logo that's right here on that top right portion. I guess, you know what? It's not on. It's actually on the back. It's on the back of the NR2 Y-Wing. Just grabbing that as an example.
You got a picture of the back of this one?
Is there a picture of the back? Let's see. Not sure there was one. Let me.
I'm just looking at the SKU. The SKU says 93. I'm just trying to see like what number it is relative to it, or what number has been released up to date. Are we at 92 and 93 is the next, or?
Let's see if we can find it here. Where was that? Let me switch views here real quick. We're scouring the internet for y'all, and of course, I'm sure we have some Google warriors out there. Where did that go? I must have just recently closed that tab. There it is. No, here's a website right here. This is what we got. There's no back of the box picture. It's just that one. SWZ90 is the SKU listed there. And if we go back here, the Forces of Mandalore is SWS93. There's two things. That would be the Gauntlet, maybe, and another. There is another. I know that speculating off of SKU numbers has not always been a successful thing, because there's sometimes things that disappear, numbers that end up getting missed. But
Yeah, I mean, it might have been in development and then just didn't make the cut at the last minute or something.
Yep. Alrighty. Well, there you go. I know a little bit more of an extended version of announcements there, but it had to be talked about. February 25th, and of course, once we can get our hands on that, or the first person to break open that box and take pictures of all the things, we'll be breaking them down. You know it. And if that's you, shoot, hook a brother up. All right, hook a brother up. Let's go ahead and keep it going. Before we jump into our next few topics, I want to remind you that becoming a patron makes you a part of our large group of supporters here at GSP, and we have officially released the art for Pursuit Squadron. It went up. We showed off some pictures on Discord for like for what's the word I'm calling, proofreading. We found a couple mistakes that got fixed, but everything's now sent off to the printer. It looks absolutely amazing, and I'll go ahead and show it off here real quick. But I was extremely happy with what we got, because Wade Pichet kicked butt. So thank you to Wade for doing that awesome art. And I am stalling in order to open up the file, because it's stalling at the moment. And there it is. All right, here we go. We'll show that off here real quick. Bam. All right, in the style of Boba Fett was the idea, kind of Boba Fett, Tatooine type of feels for these Scum ships, a la the Book of Boba Fett coming out here at the end of the year. So super pumped for that. But the next thing I want to talk about, boys, is there was a tournament over the weekend. We didn't cover it, but I know Marcel, you played in it.
I played, and William commented on I think 1 or 2 games.
So I wanted to not necessarily break down the whole. We could talk about who the winner was, but I wanted to start taking. It was the Lima Open, by the way. Did I not say the tournament? Sorry. The Lima Open happened over the weekend. I think there was about 60 players who participated in that tournament, and there was a couple of funky lists. And Marcel, I wanted to start with you, because you're on the show, and what you brought I would consider funky. It's been something you've been kind of cagey about, but now it's out in the public. How did you do in the tournament as I pull it up?
I lost in the top 8 to the eventual winner. And I think my top 16 match was streamed, and I won that one 96-95. And I was losing 64-0 after the first round of fire, because stuff happens. So it did really well. I flew a Scimitar Squadron with tracers. I flew Nash with sensitive controls, and then 4 Alpha Initiative 1, Alpha Squadron, Alpha, whatever, the Initiative 1 interceptors with sensitive controls. I thought it was going to be... There you go. You got it on the screen. Anyway, so I flew this, and again, just trying not to mess around with moving first, moving last. Just throw 5 ships that can, with tracers, 6 ships that can throw 3 dice and survive a little bit. And even if you get alpha strike, as long as you only get alpha strike 1 ship at a time, you can still benefit from the red dice coming out of it. I did okay. I mean, the games outside of the 96-95 that I won by a lot, and the games that I lost, I barely lost, including the game to the eventual loser. I mean, to the eventual winner. I was the eventual loser. The game that I lost to the eventual winner with Django and the anyway, you'll cover that in a second. I was up on points 2 turns to go, and I made a mental mistake and did not. I had blocked his Django, and I'm like, okay, I just need to run away. So I put a 5 forward to run away, and I forgot to mark his ship because I forgot that I blocked him into a rock. So I clipped the edge of a rock, and I halved myself, and then now he was up on points, and he ended up winning because of that. So note to self, mark a ship before you set your dial so you can see if you're going to run over an obstacle. But I think, that kind of tells me that it did well. And I also want to point out, Tyler Tippett's been talking a lot of smack about Vader Defender being like this unbeatable monster. And I don't think there was a Vader Defender that did anything in this particular tournament. And I played him with this same Imperial list against his Vader Defender and 4 TIE Fighters. And that Vader Defender was a sad defender, so that's just a little jab at Tyler. Like
no one brought Vader Defender to this event anyway. So.
Probably for a good reason. I mean,
that's
anyway.
a bad reason. He should be played. If he's as good as Tyler Tippett says, I don't know.
He's not as good as that. I played him twice in the same day just to prove a point, and both times he died in either 1 or 2 turns of fire. Like, yeah, if you know you're playing against them, you just ignore the TIE Fighters, kill Defender, and win the rest of the game. Anyway, what was the question, Leon? Yeah.
he just started talking trash and he forgot where was I going with this.
Yeah. So anyway, it was fun, and a lot of dice. This is actually more of an Autocalculate list, so I think I'm not that good at flying this, and I did okay. I know that I shared it with a couple of people on Discord, and they said they were really enjoying it and doing well with it. If you give this list to somebody like Autocalculate or somebody that or Ryan, somebody that is better at this archetype, I think they can do better than I did because
You'd be surprised to know I've already built this and tried it out myself.
How'd you like it?
It was good. I liked sensitive controls. The more and more I play system phase repositions, that road or not, it didn't matter. The more I like it. It was more that they now don't have a cost, just an option.
What I like about sensitive controls, especially on I1s and I2s, is that it makes, usually when you're flying a 5 or 6 or 7 ship squad, you want to avoid the obstacles. You want to like fly around the edges. But with sensitive controls, you honestly don't care. You just go straight through the debris field, and you can really come in you can really set up really nice kill boxes, because when the opponent is setting the dial, they don't know if you're going to get in close and come in as a jousting block or go come out and come in. And the rocks really don't do any, well, unless you fly over one and half yourself. Don't do anything for you. Don't do anything against you.
Nice. All right. Well, let's go ahead and we talked about the champion a little bit. Let's go ahead and look at the champion and the runner up at the same time. So go ahead, break this down for me, Ryan.
So the champion Jason Chong brought Separatist list with Django in the fire spray with maybe every upgrade slot filled. Let's see: Treacherous, Auto Blasters, Count Dooku Crew, Seismic Charges, Contraband Cybernetics, Shield Upgrade, Separatist Slave 1, and Veteran Tail Gunner. And then 2 Separatist Drone, the I-3 Vultures with Discord Missiles and Grappling Struts and Independent Calculations. And then a Separatist Bomber, the I-3 Hyena, also with Discord Missiles, Landing Struts, and Independent Calculations. So because there's less of the overall amount of droids, and you need them to individually do a little bit better and be able to launch Discord Missiles with retaining a mod defensively or offensively, Independent Calculations is something Jason decided to go with in this list. Would I put that many upgrades on Django? I don't know. That's a lot. I don't know how often you're using the Auto Blaster. Like, I get the Separatist Slave 1 title ability to kind of work with that, if I'm remembering it. Not a lot of people have taken it. I'm just double checking here. Yeah, it's while you perform a front arc attack. If you are in the defender's rear arc, you may change 1 hit to a crit. So it naturally works with Auto Blasters. I just wanted to double check it wasn't primary and there was maybe a misalignment of combo, but no, it works. Got some auto damage. Auto damage is good. And you have Dooku there as well. So he could call you can call for a crit, change 1 to a crit, and as long as it hits there with Slave 1, if you have that lined up, also get another one. So yeah.
I like it. All right. And this list reminds me a little bit, Marcel and Will, of Daniel Leon's XTC list originally. This thick fire spray doing the most of the work. And you have this, what I'm going to kind of call a screen of droids that you kind of, darned if you do and darned if you don't, right? You can't really ignore the droids, because they can do work, but then you leave a fire spray to the end game. Like you're kind of between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah,
I disagree with that a little bit. I think let's see how it was played and who ended up going against it, because I haven't seen any. I mean, I assume this was streamed. You know, if there was any reviewing of the tape, I guess. But if you don't look at the droids, I'm not threatened by them, because you can't get hit by Discord missiles if you're not looking at them, unless they're already, like, I don't know. It seems to me you point at Django at this list.
I don't know how the other games went. Maybe William saw them, but in the one that he played against me, he put 1 rock in the center and 2 in the corner, and essentially he parked all 3 on a rock, double calculating each turn, and just had Django up there, like, ready to pounce whenever you came in. So he was basically threatening the whole middle of the board with discords, and they were parked up there just creating a do not enter zone. So that's what he did against me. I don't know if he did that every turn. So he wasn't flying it the same way, but to I think Dion's point, that I think that's an archetype that's especially with the announcement of Road is becoming more and more prevalent. You know, again, we talked about Tyler's, and it is a good list. I know I talked a lot of smack, but I just like talking smack about Tyler because it's Tyler. But you know, the jousting block plus Vader. We also talked about, you know, being able to add like a Sunterfell or something like that in a bunch of TIE fighters. Or William had brought up that bunch of TIE fighters on the what are the Scum TIE fighters and Cath. So you can run Cath with like 5 or 6 6 TIE fighters and Cath. That's a 7-ship list with a fire spray on it that can roll 4 dice. So I think that's an archetype that's becoming more and more popular, and just a huge swarm powered by a heavy hitter an end game piece, and I do, got to give
I
props
mean,
to Daniel for kind of introducing that to the world with his Zam plus 4 or 5.
I mean, do you guys remember Han and 3 Talos?
Oh, that's
Yep.
way back. We get in the way back
That's
machine.
old
It's
school
way
machine.
back.
Let's go way back.
Hi, Mr. Heaver.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's an old code, but it checks out.
Yeah, even
Man,
I've
those
been.
Z95s would be jealous of those vultures. I'll tell you that much.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, even I've been playing around with the Kylo and 3 FO bombers. So yeah, having an endgame piece, and then people with Rhodes steering away from the full commitment to an entire squad of aces because they don't get to play whatever they want. They may not be as effective as you need them to be when you used to guarantee it.
And then we'll go ahead and give a quick shout out to Dr. Fridge, Janice Frisch, bringing what we know is now a kind of a known commodity. Got Dash, Rendar, Trick Shot, Jin Urso, Perceptive Copilot, Outrider, Rig Cargo Chute. A little bit of tech there with Ahsoka and Jake. Jake's got a Procket. Ahsoka, Instinctive Aim, have that potential to fire at Initiative 7. No, lies. That is the fire a... Wait, Instinctive Aim. Right. Wait, I'm confusing cards.
Yeah, spend the force to shoot the Procket without the requirement.
Without the focus. Got it. Okay. Cool. There it is. So Janice getting there into the top, and then I think, let's see, 1, 2 we talked about. Then we had 2 resistance lists that are very, very similar here in our top 4. Both bringing the, what I believe, right, the 55-point Poe is the hero Poe, all right? The orange Poe, what I like to call him, and both rocking Jess Pava and a red squadron with different combinations of who has M9G8. And then for that last ship, we had Sebastian Dearco bringing Kaz with R5 Astromech, and Matija Mandrov bringing a New Republic Patrol Y-Wing. Decked out. What do we got on that Y-Wing, Will?
All right, so this Y-Wing, first off, took the wartime loadout. No longer looking for new actions. Already got them for 2 shields, lock and reload, plus the very valuable torpedo and missile slots that this Y-Wing takes advantage of. Got the dorsal turret, a must-have if you can bring it. But then chose to bring advanced proton torpedoes and then electro chaffed missiles. I wouldn't think actually, to be fair, the wartime loadout Y-Wing is one of the most expensive chaff cloud missiles. But at the same time, if your opponents are not ready for those chaff clouds, they can be disastrous. I can imagine a lot of, because this list, the 3 T-70s and a Y-Wing, while they all have boost, you're probably just trying to joust this, right? You're just trying to go in and shoot front arc attacks, right? So whether you win or lose that joust, you can tip the scales with that chaffed missile, shooting it right before the joust, and then everybody does here 1 forward, and you can kind of hide behind it for 2 rounds.
I like it. I like it. So there's a quick recap of the Lima Open. That happened December 4th and 5th. So now we are bringing back 2 segments that we haven't had for a while because we've been busy with galaxies and all kinds of crazy stuff. And that is List of the Week and Question of the Week. Now, what I'm going to go ahead and do here, gentlemen, is I've already pulled a couple of questions. We need to pull lists. So I'll start with the questions. If you guys see a list that you find interesting that got posted today or yesterday, there was one, I think, from yesterday, go ahead and pull it, and we can just chat about it. We don't necessarily need to change anything unless they ask for something specifically. Maybe they're just showing off. But this question comes from JB Fan Court, and we starting with something that I think is going to be kind of difficult. JB Fancourt asks, can you theory craft TLT twin laser turret for 2.0 or another fun turret? I'm not sure what he means. I don't know how, TLT fun comparison. We don't have to argue about that, but interesting. But basically, just like another turret. He says, I'm bored of the having two options compared to cannons, missiles, and torpedoes. And I think we've agreed one of the problems with designing new turrets is there's real easy power creep there, right? As they all silently go, yep.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
all right. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, so it would be interesting if there was a turret that could reach out to range 3. I feel like its max dice you could ever have is 2, and there may even be a restriction beyond that in terms of like it needs a certain token, like a lock maybe, or maybe can't be shot every turn, or is a red rotate. It's a heavy turret, can't rotate it easily.
I like that.
Ooh, I see. You brought up what I was thinking was that it's a weapon that has a recurring charge. So you can spend one charge. It would be 2 charges, 1 recurring. So you could shoot twice in 1 round by spending its charges, but you'd have to wait a couple rounds for it to ever fully power back up again.
All right.
Yeah, there you go.
I like that. That could be a possibility.
I mean, with the name Twin Laser Turret, I feel like it has to be shooting twice, right? So
But only 2 dice.
Right. 2 dice. I mean, you got range bonuses now. You're only
Yeah,
in
you
90-degree arc.
Yeah, still get the range bonus.
Yeah.
And maybe
you'd
it's
have
a
to
range
limit it somehow.
What about range 3 only? I know that's still a big bubble.
That's outrageous. I would not.
No? Or do you still keep it 1 to 2? Then do we just like not have a range 3?
You can make
turret?
it like dash to where it's worse at range 1. I don't know. That would be even better if it could shoot range 1 to 3.
Yeah, what if it was so they would have to put new iconography for it, because normally when you add the missile on it, that means it can't range bonuses don't matter both for the defender at long range or for close range. So it's almost
Right.
like you wanted to allow the defender to have the additional defense dice, but you don't want to give the additional range 1 dice type of thing.
Oh,
So
man.
there might need to be like
yeah.
a clause of certain token capped or something, or status of you or status of your opponent, kind of like synced laser that removes the range bonus, maybe along that effect for this type of turret.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
as long as they limit it somehow. Well, we were talking about, or the question asked about other cannons. In first edition, they had, what was it, targeting turret? What was the one that originally came on the aggressor that you needed a target lock for?
Synced laser turret?
That sounds about right. I think that
I
makes
pulled that
sense.
out of thin air.
Pretty sure
Ooh.
that's
That's
correct,
pretty close.
actually.
That's closer than what my guesses were. But this was a turret that you needed a lock to be able to shoot it, which I think there is room for more turrets if we started asking for things like you had to be focused or you had to be locked or whatever the case may be. So
Yeah, so it was called just synced turret. I was able
Synced
to
turret.
pull it up right here. Let's go ahead and relive the past here for a moment. So synced turret says the following.
Go ahead, John.
So sync turret was attack target lock, 3 dice at the time, range 1 to 2. And for anybody who did not play first edition, turrets allowed was a 360. There was no rotating thing. Obviously, we're not suggesting that, okay? But it's an attack target lock. You can attack 1 ship. If the defender is inside your primary arc, you may reroll a number of attack dice up to your primary weapon value. So it had mods and 3 dice and only 4 points. Obviously, I think this would probably even as is minus 360 probably more expensive than that. Obviously, but it's an idea.
I think there could be room for something that like a turret upgrade that could like take away your primary. For like Y-wings don't really care, right? Aggressors, they have missiles, so they don't really care. They don't need their primary weapon. Like I think there's design space for it. The problem is that like I don't know how many ships left in canon they haven't released that still have a turret slot. And it's not just like what do I want to say? Like how the moldy or how the Hawks got changed. They used to have a turret.
Yeah.
But now they just have a regular standardized turret. So it'll be interesting. When they re-release the Aggressor, let's get that turret. Oh yeah. When they get the Hawk, let's get a new blaster cannon. Oh yeah.
I think I think with range 1 or 2, it's already okay, because before you used to have like the full bubble. Now it's only 25% of the arc that it used to be, and it's only 1/3 of. Well, it's not 1/3 because instead of being range 2 and 3, it's still range 1 and 2. I think if you keep it like a dorsal turret, it makes sense. With the caveat, kind of like the Bosk thing, where, the Scum, Bosk, crew or gunner, whichever it is, crew or gunner. Where if you may it only deals 1 damage. If you miss, you must, and you are not stressed, you must receive a stress token to attack again, so that Y-wings and a lot of ships that have those turrets don't have the best blue maneuvers anyway, and it forces you to take a stress if you want to shoot again, and at the end of the day you're still only dealing 1 damage. So I think keeping it as it is, just with the condition of if you miss the first shot, you must take the second shot for a stress. I think that's it's still strong because you're shooting twice, but it's not. You're only dealing maximum 1 damage, and you are potentially, especially if you miss twice, basically just stressing yourself and limiting your movement in the future.
All right, so a little theory crafting there. Here's another idea. I don't know if it would be played, but you could also make it a 1-die turret that has a range 1 bonus. So you can have the 2 dice at range 1. Maybe you can do the bonus attacks, but you got to put yourself in danger. Like, you have to be at range 1 in order to do it. If you, let's say, we're able to fire twice, you could fire 1 die twice at range 2, or if you want that juicy second dice 2 times, you got to get in the scrum.
I'm not paying for a 1-die weapon, Dylan. You're crazy.
But you can you just get in the range. Just get in the range 1.
Nope.
Dormant turret. I tried, folks. I tried. All right. All right. And let's go ahead and hit the list of the week. Will, you want to go first?
Yeah. This is a list very similar to what I've been working on. I've been slowly going through after Road and a couple other things I've noticed in the meta, that a lot of factions, all factions I believe, can run 4 I-5 pilots. So for a while there I was just going through the different factions. What was it? Resistance used to do it with Lulo, Tali, Elo, and 9. So we have here, this was Worms. Patrick sent this in about a quad I-5 initiative list. So they had put down Darth Maul. These are the only I5s available, by the way, other than Zam. So there's not much change in there. So you have Darth Maul with hate, proton torpedoes, and munitions failsafe. The Affleck prototypes, the spend your lock to look at someone's dial. Tri-fighters, both of them have independent calculations. Then we have Brewer Kret with gravitic deflection and Predator. Brewer Kret allows I'm just going to read this word for word because he's got quite the ability. Brewer Kret says, after you perform an attack that hits each friendly ship with Calculate on its action bar and a lock on the defender may perform a red Calculate action. So that's actually the basis of where I take this list, Diome. The first thing I want to do is actually take off the proton torpedoes and munitions failsafe off of Darth Maul, and I want to get him a Calculate action. And the best way I know how to do that is to put Kraken on him, the relay. Kraken's going to let him and the Tri-Fighters then hold on to a Calculate token each. And because it adds a Calculate token, Brewer Kret does work for Darth Maul because they're all I5. Brewer Kret can attack first as well. So I want to up Brewer Kret's attack power. So let's change that gravitic deflection to crack shot. I just want to come in for one good bullseye attack, do my damage, get my ability to trigger, then take off on out of there. See this? But this is where this gets tricky, though. And I think we actually take off the independent calculations then.
Oh.
I know, right? But they can use the calculates that Darth Maul's carrying around. If we get Brewer Kret to trigger, they can use those extra red evades or red calculates. But that leaves us 4 points, and I think it's a hard choice between getting Predator on the Tri-Fighters or just taking Grievous on Darth Maul. And oh man, I think I would take the Predators. Just get some more consistency on our offense. I think any of these options work. You can drop hate for Predators. You can grab General Grievous. I think all of these at the end work. But I think for this one, I'll take Predator. So what you can do then is you're holding 3 calculates on Darth Maul and the 2 Tri-Fighters. You can come up and lock all 3 of those guys. And then as long as Brewer Kret can hit, they can all then red calculate as well. So that could be quite the alpha strike. Ryan, I was actually going to ask you this. If you have Kraken, you don't need independent calculations as much, do you think?
No, especially with a list like this that only has 4 ships, and only 3 of them can calculate, actually. So, yeah, I don't. If you have Kraken, you don't need independent calculations.
Cool. All right, there you go. So the final form, Maul with hate and Kraken, 2 Affleck, those are the Initiative 5 droid Tri-Fighters with Predator, and Brewer Kret with Predator and Crackshot. There you go, Worms. Next we got Ryan. He picked out a Republic list from our smorgasbord. What you got here, Ryan?
I just had to make sure I opened up the original before I switch immediately over to what I would adjust to. So we have a 4-ship Republic list featuring Anakin in the ETA-2 with Predator. We have Obi in the Delta 7 with CLT. And we have a LAT with 7th Fleet Gunner. All that makes sense so far. And we have Oddball in the V-Wing, which I think we've all come to the conclusion is like the worst chassis for Oddball anyway. Because it already has link into lock for boost, so it only really takes advantage of the barrels and the red maneuvers.
Yep.
Still there. in which he leans into with elusive. R4P44, which is after you fully execute a red maneuver, if there's an enemy ship in your bullseye, gain a calculate. She already wants to do that. Precision ion engines, which does synergize with oddball as well, changing that 2K turn into a sloop of either direction he would like. And then just taking the Alpha Besh title with no bombs, just to get that better offense with that lock. Now, personally, I see this list, and if there's a V-Wing I'm taking in this list, it's, Oddball looks fun in this one. Looks cute. But I'm here to protect the Jedi and make them do as best as possible. Therefore, I would swap Oddball to Click, get rid of every upgrade, and change the every upgrade on Click now, and make sure at least you have R3 Astromech on Click. That way, Click can lock Anakin and Obi to negate range restriction bonuses that they are attacking or defending on. Only once per turn, so Click's gotta use his charge wisely. 5 points remaining can kind of go anywhere. You already have the nice explosive spike damage from Obi-Wan being supported by a LAT with 7th Fleet Gunner. You can go more explosive with Anakin if you put Shattering Shot on him. The Shattering Shot and 7th Fleet can stack on top, similar to how CLT can with 7th Fleet Gunner. You could put those 5 points into adding the Besh title and a bomb on Click. You could add Extreme Maneuvers onto Obi to really have another option to have that hard turn reposition to get that CLT bullseye where you need it. It's kind of flavor to taste at that point. I'm not going to say one is clearly the right answer. You can even put R5 Astromech on Anakin, get some health back. You only have Hull, so I think it's flavor to taste there. But I've built this kind of archetype before, where it's featuring 2 Jedi, Click, and a thing. And when you have something like Obi-Wan CLT, and the CLT supported by a 7th Fleet LAT is one of the most dangerous attacks in the game, because it has an extremely high percentage to get 5 hits, then I would try and protect that piece as much as possible.
I like it. All right, let's keep it going. We have our last one here. Marcel, you got a list taken from Tycho Kelchu 505. What'd you put in the box?
Okay, so he took Hera in the B-Wing with Hopeful Fire Control System, Sync Laser Cannons, Shield Upgrade, the B6 Blade Wing Prototype, Title, Stabilized S-Foils Configuration, and Sabine Wren Gunner, 65 points. Then a 67-point Expert Handling, Saw Gerrera Targeting Computer, Wolfaro and Janors with Hopeful, Leia, Engine Upgrade, and Moldy Crow. And I think what he's trying to do here is he's trying Sabine Wren on the gunner, that doesn't show up very often. It says after you perform a special attack, you may choose a number of friendly ships at range 0 to 3 of the defender, up to the whatever damage cards are dealt. Basically, if you put damage with a special weapon, you can remove tokens from red tokens from a friendly ship. For starters, Leia, it doesn't really interact well with Leia, but I think what he's trying to go for is boost the attack of Hera with Janors, remove the stress, and then shoot again with a boosted attack on Wolfaro. The problem with that is that the Janors ability is you may boost a primary attack, not a special weapon. So while a friendly ship in your firearm performs a primary attack, that means that the synced laser cannon attack, the special weapon attack, will not trigger.
Marcel, read the B-Wing's title.
What does it say?
It means that you can shoot your primary and then spend your lock to shoot your cannon.
Oh, I get it. I get it. So
you're
you
on the right
spend-
track though. You got everything else. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get it. Like you're boosting the special, you're boosting the primary, and then you're hoping that the next shot does the damage. But the problem is that you have to spend your target lock to take that second attack. So that means you're shooting a sync laser cannon unmodded shot with 3 dice. So I'm not a big fan of that because it's very gimmicky, and you're trying to get that double modded shot, and you're giving up a lot in order to do that. So what I am going to do, and let me just look at a little bit at what I did, is I did get rid of Sabine Wren Gunner. Let me move that over here. Let me look at what you got going on and put the thing over here. So I got rid of the Sabine Gunner. I also got rid of the 2 hopefuls. I'm just not a big fan of hopefuls, especially on a 3-ship list where a lot of ships aren't dying. And when you get the tokens, you want to get the tokens at lower initiatives. So initiative 6 or initiative 5 with this is just not a big fan of it. And then I'm also getting rid of the expert handling on Wolfaro. I don't really think you're barrel rolling or doing much. And because the B-Wing doesn't move fast, Wolfaro doesn't move fast, engine upgrade is usually there to keep up with like Dash or Han or, the A-Wings, with something fast. So I'm going to get rid of the engine upgrade on Janors as well. So that opens up a number of points. And then what I'm going to do is on Hera, I'm going to keep her chunky the way he had her chunky, but I'm going to add ion torpedoes just in case you're shooting at a distance. And it'll make sense here in a second. I'm adding ion torpedoes in case you're shooting at a distance, or if you want to shoot with sync laser turret, you can still do that as well. It depends if you just really want to lock somebody down. And then weapons system officer, which allows you to spend the target lock full out if you want and still be able to take that back, whether you shot your sync laser turret or your ion torpedoes, and get that target lock back, so then you can basically spend it to shoot that second attack with the sync laser turret. Then on Wolfaro, I'm going to add intimidation and Zeb. I'm a big fan. If you're putting all the points on target lock and Saw Gerrera, throw Zeb in there. Throw some intimidation on there, and no. Keep Saw. So Saw Gerrera, Zeb, intimidation, and then the targeting computer. You can still keep the targeting computer, so that way you can have a double modded shot with Wolfaro. And then Janors can go ahead and boost the Wolfaro shot most of the time. And then Janors, just leave her with Leia and Moldy Crow title. And
This leaves me 4 points over. What is? Did you take off the shield upgrade?
Yeah, I took off the shield upgrade from Hera. So the final list is Hera. And now the ion torpedo is if you want the shield upgrade instead of the ion torpedo, you can go ahead and do that. I like the ion torpedo because, again, with Wolfaro and with these ships that don't have a lot of repositioning, if you're flying against something that moves around a lot, if you're flying against the Defender Vader, if you're flying against a Sunterfell or something that's moving around a lot, you want to have these ships aren't maneuverable enough to chase. So you want to be able to lock somebody down and say, hey, Kylo, you're going to go one forward next turn, and now I can go ahead and put all guns on you and really punish you. So I think you need that this list needs that control, just because it's a slow, 3-ship, one forward, one bank type of list, especially with Janors needing to take the stress away, and only on the Hawks it's only 1, 2, and 3 forward, or the one bank. So if you're chasing at an angle, you're basically doing one banks the entire time. So that's why I like the ion torpedoes on there. And again, with weapon system, it allows you to spend the entire target lock and get it back, so you can shoot the sync laser turret right after that.
Sync laser cannon. Just
Yeah, that one.
all right. So
my mind's still in twin laser turret.
so we end up with Hera, fire control, sync laser cannon, ion torpedo, S foils, B6 blade, wing, prototype, weapon system officer. That's all on Hera. Then with Waro, intimidation, Zeb, Saw Gerrera, targeting computer, and then Janor's and the Hawk with Leia and Moldy Crow. And I just realized I didn't read Ryan's list. You're going to have to come back and watch the video to find out the full thing. All right. So there you go. If you want to submit some lists for List of the Week or want to submit some questions for Question of the Week, you can go to our Discord, !Discord if you're watching live, or click the link in the description below. Super excited to get that rolling again. And as we go into into the holidays, obviously, the Monday after Christmas, probably going to take that day off. I want to be able to really enjoy the holidays with family and things like that. Ryan has his baby boy, first Christmas right around the corner. I love it. I love it. I love it. And of course,
final thing though, just before we get into like the final things, is you guys talked about Lima Open. I was in Lima Open. Well, they're keeping the donations open until next Friday. So go to Lima Open. Just Google Lima Open X-Wing. Their website will come up.
It's xwinglimaopen.com.
Yeah. I mean, you can just Google it and it'll come up. They have the donation link there. They're still accepting donations till the end of the week. And again, it's for a charity. And the charity is to help girls in Peru get education. So it's kind of like it's not a college fund, but it's a school fund.
Awesome. And speaking of charity events, we have the Jank Tank Open. If you want to be a part of that, if you're watching live, !Jank or Jank Tank, you get the website, you have the details there. We are rolling lists. I still have about 100 lists to get through. I've gotten through about 200. And yeah, so super fun here. If you don't know what it is, randomized list. You get to basically swap out one upgrade, and it's a single elimination tournament that's starting in the first week of January.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
I know you're trying to close out. You probably got stuff to do, but I don't care. We're going to ask the question anyway.
Okay.
That's why you love me, man.
Oh, yeah.
I want to know, what is the best list you've seen and what is the worst list you've seen?
Oh, man, I can't. I don't know.
I mean, just like from what you remember.
Okay, so the
Did
best.
you allow any dash in or any?
No.
I mean, he did give somebody Django, Grievous, and a hyena.
I did.
But what'd you roll after? You rolled that after the original list was Zam, Grievous, and I think a Nantex or something like that.
Yeah.
Instantly got re-rolled.
Yeah, I basically I didn't recognize the name, and I say I don't believe you. Let's see how you do. Actually, the best one that got rolled today, which I re-rolled it, I didn't assign it. There was a triple Phantom and something else. I'm trying to forget. I don't remember what the other one was. That was a pretty cool one that came up, but I didn't allow it. Most YT2400s have not been allowed in. I think I let in a Wild Space Ranger with some random stuff.
You're letting in a lot of sympathizers today.
I was. I was. But I mean, it's a turret, but it's one of those where I can spend time like editing the list, or I can just get it done. Like I'm starting to get to the point where I'm like, all right, we just need to get this done. All right, there's 100 more lists to go, and it's a 100% free tournament, so you lose nothing.
I was trying to think of, you asked the worst ones.
Yeah.
When I saw you watching today, Dion, there was you had some 90-something point Cardinal, Captain Cardinal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was not right. It was like that and 2 bombers. Like,
yeah.
Good luck with that.
There was a double Psy Shuttle list, I think, that came up.
You did give someone 2 Psy Shuttles. There was more to that list, but yeah, that's not a great start. You gave me a 70-point B-Wing, 77-point B-Wing with a Force point. So...
With, I think, Ezra Gunner, right?
Yeah, had Ezra Gunner. Had Han Solo Gunner at first.
Yep.
That would... So I actually never asked you, Dion, what happens if you take that upgrade off then? Well, not Han. The upgrade that gives you an upgrade. Do you lose both upgrades then? Is that even legal?
I will make it illegal.
I will make it illegal, I think, is probably the answer to that one.
Okay. Because it gets because like I'm thinking of the Star Wing configuration that gives you missile and torpedo.
True.
I guess,
Yeah, it gives you a second
wartime.
missile and second torpedo.
Yeah,
Most
wartime
of those
loadout
are
does the same thing.
Yeah, most of those are free. Wartime loadout is, I guess, not a great one. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Just don't do that.
Okay.
Or do it and ask for forgiveness. Not.
Yeah, see
Yeah,
if anybody
well,
knows this
yeah.
later.
Yeah,
Easier for forgiveness than approval.
yeah. Well, that would count as removing multiple upgrades. You're only allowed to remove one, and
okay.
that would create an illegal state. It would create an illegal state.
I will make it a legal state.
Yeah. I love because at first, I mean, all love to Ryan Farmer. I love he was being real careful, like, oh, that's a useless upgrade here, useless upgrade there. We were changing them all. Ain't nobody got time for that, man. I gotta go. I told him too. The last time I was like, Ryan, we just gotta go. He's like, I get it. You're right. And he goes, quote, sucks to suck. Let's go. That's a quote. All right.
When I was watching, you're doing pretty good. You left a couple outmaneuvers on turrets, but
Yeah.
other than that, whatever. They can change it themselves then.
That's right. You pay the points. You make that as your move. All right. All right. That's it. Anything else? Marcel, wait. Is there another thing?
I can come up with one if you really want.
What is a character, an unexpected character you think that will pop up in the book of Boba Fett?
Oh God, I don't. Bad Batch. Away from the Bad Batch. Actually, would they still be alive? Because they're. Okay, I'll tell you who. The other Force user girl from the Bad Batch. The little girl from the Bad Batch. I forgot her name.
Oh,
I think
okay.
she'll come up in Book of Boba Fett.
All right.
Oh wait, did Sicarius Scum, whatever his last name is, did he die on that cargo barge?
He got eaten, didn't he? Oh, I guess that wasn't necessarily him. Salacious Crumb.
Salacious Crumb. Yeah, is there anybody? Did he survive that barge explosion? Did anybody survive that barge explosion? Obviously,
doesn't look like it.
Well, what's his face? The Twi'lek did.
Oh,
that is true.
Bib Fortuna.
Bib Fortuna. De Wanga Wanga. That's right. I can only think of De Wanga Wanga. I'm like, that's not. It's not that guy's name. He's not a Pokemon. He doesn't say his name. But yeah, I mean, Bib Fortuna survived it somehow. He was on that barge, right?
That's true.
That's true. What about you, Ryan?
First live action appearance of Princess Izor.
Oh.
Gotta start those underworld connections.
This is true. Is it low-hanging fruit to say Kira? I don't know if they would go out and pay the actress for a show.
They're not paying her.
I would love that. That'd be awesome.
I need some more Crimson Dawn in my life. All right, that's it. For real this time. Thanks for watching, everybody. Stay smart, stay safe. Gold Squadron. Ryan's tired. #DadLife. Out.